did become a member of NWA.
It was dope. It was dope because I felt like I had earned my respect that I always look for, but I really wished Eazy was there so it could have been a real full combination of, because I really loved Eazy-E.
You had Dre on your label at one time? Or was he with you?
He was in NWA, and he was a producer for Ruthless Records.
All right. So Snoop Dogg was never with you?
No, he was never with me. Compton and Long Beach, they don't get along with each other. See, like people in Compton really don't, claim Dre as being from Compton, and they don't claim Snoop from being from Long Beach.
Career ender, especially for celebrities, but not in the case of the rap singer who calls himself, quote, Snoop Doggy Dogg. A judge in Los Angeles refused today to drop charges against him.
Snoop was involved in a drive-by shooting.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. He out on bail right now. But hey, good luck, brother.
I'm sure many of you can remember how hot the Eazy-E versus Death Row beef was.
How many out there like Eazy-E? It's Eazy-E.
We know the wild stories, but today we will be giving you the gist on how bad it could have gotten for Snoop Dogg, given his Death Row and Dr. Dre affiliations. This is just another case of buying a case that could have ended you, just because of who you roll with.
But I never could be friends with Eazy when I got with Dr. Dre. I could never say, damn, Eazy, you a bad motherfucker. What you call your shit is hard.
Looking back now, you'd be wondering how Snoop got away with it, especially since many believe he's not even that gangsta, particularly when compared with Eazy-E. And let's not even get started on the allegations that the Dogg father has always played both sides of the field, from allegations that he was likely involved in Tupac's death, or at the very least, betrayed Pac.
Do you think Snoop felt the type of way about Tupac and the success he was having?
Yeah, of course.
Did you know that Tupac and Snoop wasn't seeing eye to eye like that before his death? Because you was one of the last people with him before he left for Vegas, because you recorded one of his last songs. So did you know yo?
Yeah.
To claims that he never really stuck up for any of his homies.
Is just so loyal like that, man. If you with me, whoever my enemy is your enemy. But Snoop, being his own man, and I can see that I can't say I would just friends with them.
Depending on who you ask, Snoop has always had that aura of betrayal hanging around him, and frankly, even if some of those accusations are untrue, the claims that he had even tried to cozy up to Eazy back in the day when the whole beef was still hot can understandably make anyone give him the side eye. It's quite a lot to unpack, guys, especially seeing how Snoop now appears to be all buddy-buddy with the Eazy-E clan when the two literally went at each other while Eazy was still alive.
You can't see me, you wanna be me. I got a message to the CPT. What's up, Eazy?
You can say all you want to say. Basically, you could diss me all you want, but I'm gonna get paid.
From NWA's explosive breakup to the stories that fans are still buzzing about, we're diving into the beef, the fallout, and the hidden truths behind these two legends. So what really went down between Snoop and Eazy? Let's break it all down.
Fuck Dre, Suge, Death Row!
The clash between Snoop Dogg and Eazy-E is straight out of hip-hop legend status. Think big personalities, insane skills, and some serious loyalty drama. This all went down during the messy NWA breakup, which basically shook up the whole West Coast rap scene. It was all about proving who ruled the mic and whose crew repped harder. Classic 90s rap energy at its peak.
Are you still friends with your group?
A couple of them. Ice Cube, MC Ren, and Yella.
Okay, what about the other one?
Who?
The drama really kicked off when Dr. Dre dropped Dre Day, aka F-Wit Dre Day, and everybody's celebrating. This diss track was a total shakeup, marking one of the biggest moments in early 90s hip-hop. It hit in 1992 as part of Dre's solo album, The Chronic, and it wasn't just about taking shots at Eazy-E. It was Dre and Snoop flexing hard, claiming their spot at the top with Death Row Records.
Was loud, but your bite wasn't vicious, and them rhymes you were kicking were quite booty.
The track went straight for Eazy-E's throat, mocking him as a washed-up rapper still holding on to his tough guy act. The lyrics called out his credibility and relevance in the rap world, painting him as a joke. But the real roast came in the music video where they turned Eazy into a cartoon villain, Sleazy E, the shady businessman with a jerry curl, hustling for cash, and looking totally ridiculous. One would imagine the idea was to make Eazy look like a joke in front of the entire rap world. And true to form, Eazy wasn't having it.
crack and his fat, watch the sniper. Time to pay the piper.
So of course, Eazy-E fires back with Real Mutha F&Gs in 1993. And trust me, he didn't hold back. This wasn't just a diss. It was Eazy letting everyone know he's still running things in rap, even after the NWA split and losing some mainstream shine. Who do you think you're talking to?
Mother Dre, mother Snoop, mother Death Row. Yo, and here comes my left blood.
The track kicked off with a full-on blast at Dre, calling him out for ditching his roots. Eazy went straight for Dre's decision to leave NWA and link up with Death Row, throwing shade at Dre for going soft and trading street cred for the luxury life. To Eazy, Dre was a sellout who ditched the crew that helped them blow up for a bigger paycheck. There's some history here, we'll come back to it. But Eazy wasn't done. He really went after Snoop Dogg, calling him a fake gangster. He wasn't having any of Snoop's smooth-talking, chill persona and made it clear he thought Snoop was just a creation of Death Row's marketing machine. Eazy threw in the line about Snoop being a studio gangster, basically saying he was all flash, no real street cred, just a polished image Dre built up for him. Now, the conversation of Snoop being a fake gangster has been an industry conversation for a minute now. A couple people have stories, or they say they do. Michael Jai White, for example, told a funny anecdote one time about being in the studio when a fight broke out with Snoop's crew and another crew. Picture this.
I was at the studio when Snoop's crew and Mac 10's group got into this fight, and it was the funniest I'd ever want to see.
Big, tough, bodyguard-looking guys all in each other's faces talking about what you want to do. And everyone's just like, what the heck is going on here? And throwing hands like girls, according to him.
Because there was these big bodyguard type of dudes that was, what you want to do, what you do? And I was like, what the f?
Then, things get even crazier. Snoop's team rolls up and it looks like they're coming back for some serious business. But nah, instead of guns, they've got 2 pit bulls with them. The whole situation was honestly so ridiculous it was hard not to laugh. And that's just one story.
And then Snoop's guys was coming back, and I thought they was coming back with guns, and they had like 2 pit bulls. I'm like, get him, Sparky. I was like, this is some dumb shit right here.
But word on the street is Snoop always had ties to the Crips. He grew up in Long Beach, where gang culture was part of the scene. He's talked openly about how his early life was shaped by the streets and his connection to the Crips. Even though he wasn't as deep in it as some others, when Snoop's career blew up in the 90s, he didn't shy away from repping his hood and the Crips.
And Snoop blew it completely out of the water. He became the biggest rapper in the world.
Biggest Crip rapper in the world.
Now, a couple years back, not so long ago, word started circulating, this story floating around that Snoop was kicked out of his own hood by the Long Beach Rollin' 20 Crips. Apparently, he showed up there with security to do some sort of public appearance, but the streets weren't having it. The word was that he hadn't been paying royalties and the gang members were pretty upset about it. They didn't care about Hollywood fame. This is the real deal on the West Coast, where street codes run deep.
So they had a thing for a minute that the Crips told was put a rumor around that Snoop couldn't come to the hood no more.
While people often look at only Chicago gangs as structured, Louisiana gangs also have a whole set of rules and structure guiding them. There are OGs, triple OGs, and even double OGs, and everything is pretty well organized. According to the streets, they basically told Snoop to get out, not wanting to let him slide.
Because no, you can't just drop your flag. You know what I'm saying? Like when you something like that, gotta hold on to it forever.
Of course, Snoop responded to all this. He didn't let the rumors slide, but he also gave a pretty cool reply to the situation. He says he could do whatever he wanted. He wasn't holding back. He called out the people who were mad at him for not helping them anymore, saying it was because he was out here trying to do good for the community, like putting together football programs for the kids and focusing on positivity.
Because I am the LBC, and me and my young homies, we got a great relationship.
He also took shots at the older folks who were mad because he wouldn't call them big homie when they had no jobs, no cars, and nothing going for themselves.
You mad, cuz? You mad cuz I won't call you big homie? Cuz I'm 40-something years old and I refuse to call another big homie?
Snoop was like, you're mad because I'm doing well, and now you want to drag my name through the mud. He made it clear. He was all about helping the younger generation and had a solid relationship with his young homies in Long Beach. But some people call BS though, cause word is Snoop has been caught in lies a couple times, like with his relationship with Tupac.
Wasn't you in fear for your life because you put your cover over your head with your in your hand because you wanted to, because you was riding on a plane with Pac, and if it was all that love, you wouldn't have to do that, right?
Despite Snoop's long claims of loyalty and friendship, there's some gossip floating around that he wasn't even on good terms when Tupac passed. So it looks like Snoop might have been twisting the truth, maybe even rewriting history for a while.
Because Dogg said, we're not going to Vegas. We're gonna post. So, he called us to the house and was basically like, look, this is what we doing.
And it's not just this one thing. Snoop's rep as a storyteller, or let's be honest, a bit of a fabricator, has caught the attention of some people close to him who aren't afraid to call him out. Some of the gangsters he used to name drop, yeah, they're not happy with him either.
Not true, Snoop Doggy Doggy Dog. Snoop Lion. That's what you should need to keep your name. Snoop Lion, because you always lying.
They've been vocal about Snoop spicing up his past, and some even say he's become a bit of a joke among the real street legends. So here's the million-dollar question. Is Snoop's charm enough to keep him going, or is his image finally starting to crack? The big question is whether all those stories he's been telling about his time with Tupac and Biggie are legit, or just part of his own legend, especially with all these rumors swirling.
Big got in that studio and said, I don't know why this Snoop's calling me. I'm not telling this nigga where I'm at. I didn't make that shit.
Take one of his most outlandish stories, for example. He once claimed that when Tupac was in prison, Pac was in real danger, and it was he who convinced Suge to bail Tupac out to keep him safe. Sounds dramatic, right? But here's the kicker. Napoleon, a close friend from Tupac's Outlaws crew, is calling out that story as total BS. He says Tupac was actually pretty popular in prison, making friends and even snapping pics with folks. Definitely not the helpless situation Snoop described.
Was Tupac having issues when he was in prison? Because I know Snoop, he always say that he was hearing bad things, so he told Suge Knight to get him out.
According to Napoleon, when they visited Pac, he never once said he was in danger. Of course, he wanted to get out. Who wouldn't? But it wasn't because of some big heroic plea from Snoop to Suge. Snoop has also been accused of playing both sides a lot.
That's how I was with Eazy-E. I loved Eazy-E.
Right as a kid.
But I never could be friends with Eazy-E when I got with Dr. Dre. I could never say, damn, Eazy, you a bad motherfucker. But you kill your is hard. I always had to be like, that.
For years, people have been saying Snoop likes to play both sides when it comes to beefs. With all his connections, some think he stays neutral or even switches up depending on who he's hanging with. He's been in the game so long and knows both West Coast and East Coast artists, so it's not surprising folks wonder if he's just keeping his options open or avoiding the drama. Take the whole West Coast versus East Coast thing in the 90s. Snoop's friendships on both sides had people talking. He's tight with Dr. Dre and the Death Row crew, but he also keeps it real with East Coast legends like Nas and Jay-Z. Fans started wondering if Snoop was trying to stay out of the chaos or just making sure his career stayed on track. A lot of people think Snoop knows when to keep his distance, which makes it look like he's playing both sides to stay out of the mess or just keep things chill. Whether that's actually what's going on, who knows, but it definitely adds to the mystery of Snoop. But one thing's clear, Eazy-E thought he was fake.
Are you still friends with your group?
A couple of them. Ice Cube, MC Ren, and Yella.
Okay, what about the other one?
Now Eazy-E, that's a hardcore guy. Eazy's connections with the Southside Crips are well known, but what most people don't realize is that he had another strong crew backing him up, the Mexican gangs of Compton. Some say these guys were even more loyal to Eazy than anyone else, and when you hear the stories, it's easy to see why. Eazy always had mad love for Chicano culture and was all about that Latin hip-hop scene. This love led him to sign Brownside, a Chicano rap group led by Toker, a straight-up street legend. Toker said the link-up with Eazy happened supernaturally. Eazy caught wind of one of Brownside's tracks through a mutual friend, and the rest is history. They met up, hit it off, and just clicked. But Brownside wasn't just another rap group. These guys were gang-affiliated and had major respect on the streets. People who were around them back then would tell you that being in the same room as these dudes was enough to make anyone sweat. Their rep was no joke. That's what drew Eazy in. He respected how the Latino gangs treated each other like family. Loyal, no questions asked. For them, your crew was like blood, and they'd go to war for you in a second. Eazy loved that loyalty and kept them close. He knew that when things got messy, and they usually did, these were the guys who'd have his back no matter what.
So we told E, we rolling with you, fool. We got your back. What's cracking with this death row roof? Who you want gone? because we ain't f***ing around.
Eazy trusted Brownside so much that when his health started failing, they were the ones he called to take him to the hospital. That's real. When his world was falling apart and his body was giving up on him, he turned to Toker and the crew. And even after Eazy passed away, the love didn't end. The Latinos still had his back, looking out for his family and making sure his son, Lil Eazy-E, knew he had people who would always ride for him. So there's this one story where Eazy-E was just kicking back at a cheesecake factory when some dudes claiming to be with Death Row showed up. These guys started surrounding Eazy, trying to act tough, thinking they could intimidate him since he was by himself.
We got too ruthless. We got too ruthless when the Death Row Ruthless beef was cracking. So they thought they were gonna overpower my boy because my boy was by himself. But you know, Destiny's a mother.
But they had no clue who they were messing with. Out of nowhere, the tables flipped. All of a sudden, the Death Row crew was the one surrounded. And not just by a couple of people, but a whole squad. The whole place was packed with Mexican gang members who came out to have Eazy's back. And trust, these weren't random people. They were real gangsters, no joke.
He says, God, like that. I says, yeah, like that. God, Toast, man, I like you. Everywhere he went, he called his Mexicans.
The Death Row guys were straight up rattled. Their tough guy act totally backfired. They realized they were way outnumbered and didn't hesitate to bounce. They hopped in their cars and dipped, probably thinking they were about to catch a serious L. But just to make sure they got the message, Toker dropped a line. "If you want to come back, we'll be right here." It was crystal clear. Eazy wasn't solo, and anyone trying to come at him had to face the Mexican gangs of Compton. So the drama between Eazy-E and Suge Knight, head of Death Row Records, was on a whole different level. This wasn't just some petty beef or competition. It was the kind of tension that could get ugly in a flash. Word is, Eazy was ready to square up with Suge himself, but luckily he got talked out of it before things really popped off. Okay, so backstory.
Eazy is his name and the boys coming
straight out of Compton. It's a brother that'll smother your mother.
The beef between Eazy, Dre, and the rest of NWA had been simmering for a minute, and if the rumors are right, it all boiled down to one person, Jerry Heller. NWA was already making huge waves, but behind closed doors, it was messy. Jerry was either the dude who built up Ruthless Records or the one who started tearing the group apart, depending on who you asked. From Dre's perspective, Heller wasn't managing the group right. He was all about Eazy, which made it feel like there was some divide and conquer thing happening. Mix that with money drama, and things were bound to blow up.
Suge tried to destroy my record company with the help of others. Dre.
Once Ruthless started stacking cash, Dre and the Doc started getting curious. They felt like they weren't seeing their fair share and started wondering if there was some sketchy stuff happening behind the scenes. The fact that Eazy and Jerry were so tight just made it worse. To Dre and the Doc, it looked like Jerry was always riding for Eazy, leaving them feeling like afterthoughts. That's when Suge Knight made his move. Suge was already known as a huge, intimidating presence in the game, so Dre and the Doc figured he might be able to help them out, mainly by getting some answers and maybe helping them break free from their ruthless contracts.
Eazy was pissed off at Suge for taking Dre, and it was much money and energy and work that Eazy put into starting Ruthless and making it a success, like that, it was, kind of gone.
But things didn't exactly go according to plan. When Dre and the Doc asked Eazy to let them out of their contracts, Eazy shut them down fast. He wasn't about to lose Dre, especially since Dre was a big reason Ruthless was even popping, letting them walk away. That'd be like cutting the label's future in half, and Eazy wasn't about to make that move. Then Suge turned up the pressure. He wasn't the type to take no for an answer. One day while they were recording NWA's Ninjas for Life album, Suge allegedly told Eazy he had Jerry Heller kidnapped and locked in a van outside the studio. But even with that threat, Eazy wasn't backing down. The guy was stubborn, and no amount of intimidation could break him, at least not yet. But Suge wasn't done. If scaring Jerry didn't work, he had a plan B. Suge pulled out a piece of paper with an address on it, Eazy's mom's address. That was the moment everything flipped. It was a clear message: let Dre and the Doc go, or his family would be in danger. With that hanging over him, Eazy finally gave in and signed the release papers, letting Dre and the Doc off the hook, and basically handing Dre over to Suge and Death Row. At least that's what happened, according to one camp. But that's a story for another day. Suge Knight and Death Row, that's the kind of of drama that still gets talked about today. If you're looking for someone whose name is basically the definition of chaos, controversy, and big moves in hip-hop, it's gotta be Suge. The guy didn't just create Death Row, he turned it into this insane empire, and he also ended up being the face of some of the craziest, most intense moments in music history.
Like to tell Tupac to keep his guards up, we ride with him.
Suge helped start Death Row in 1991 with Dr. Dre, The Doc, and Dick Griffey. But while Dre was out here getting the attention, Suge was behind the scenes pulling all the strings. This dude had a serious tough guy persona. He's always in charge, always doing whatever it took, even if it was a little shady, to keep his empire on top. Word is, Suge wasn't afraid to use threats, intimidation, and even straight-up violence to get what he wanted. And yeah, that's basically how Death Row started making its mark, with Dre's The Chronic and Snoop's Doggy Style taking over the charts. Death Row went from being the underground buzz to dominating the rap scene. But Suge's style, let's just say it wasn't exactly smooth sailing. His heavy-handed business moves kept the label in constant drama. The bigger Death Row got, the more Suge's reputation as a tough, unpredictable boss grew. Dre spotted Snoop's talent and pulled him in for The Chronic. After Snoop absolutely crushed it on tracks like Nothing But AG Thing, Dre knew he had a star on his hands. By '93, Snoop's debut Doggy Style dropped, and it was instant fire. It shot to #1 and went multi-platinum. Snoop was officially a star.
Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance, so back on.
Snoop and Suge's relationship, not as chill as it looked. On the surface, Suge treated Snoop like his golden boy, using his fame to boost Death Row's street cred. Snoop, with his deep ties to Long Beach's gang scene, definitely found some protection in Suge's world. But let's be real, Snoop wasn't all in on Suge's shady tactics. By 1996, things were getting tense. Death Row was at the top, but Snoop was getting sick of all the drama. He wasn't vibing with Suge's violent tactics, and the toxic environment around the label started wearing him down. Even though he was still a key figure, his relationship with Suge was starting to crack. Snoop went on to have a pretty solid career. In 1998, he made the leap to Master P's No Limit Records, officially leaving Death Row behind. His album, Day Game Is To Be Sold, Not To Be Told wasn't a critical hit, but it still debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. With No Limit, Snoop found more creative freedom and was able to distance himself from the violence and drama of Death Row. By 2000, Snoop released No Limit Top Dog, which was another commercial success, but it was in 2002 with Paid the Cost to Beat a Boss that he fully transitioned to a more polished mainstream sound. Tracks like Beautiful, featuring Pharrell, showed off his more laid-back, mature side. Snoop didn't stop there. He started collaborating with more pop and R&B artists, expanding his appeal. One of his biggest hits was Drop It Like It's Hot in 2004, which went #1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Try to get at you. Like it's hot, it's like it's hot, it's like it's hot.
Snoop also branched out from music. He became a media mogul, launching his production company and taking on acting roles, including in Training Day. He also starred in his own reality show, Snoop Dogg's Fatherhood, and became an entrepreneur, launching a cannabis line that aligned with his laid-back lifestyle. In the 2010s, Snoop's digital presence grew with viral memes, cooking tutorials, and motivational content. His show with Martha Stewart, Martha and Snoop's Potluck Dinner Party, helped introduce him to an even wider audience. Eazy-E, on the other hand, I guess we can only speculate from how much he achieved in a short time, how much and how far he would have gone. The guy had the brains and drive to stay ahead of the pack. He wasn't just making music, he was building something bigger with NWA and Ruthless Records. If he'd been around longer, there's no question he would have kept leveling up. He already showed his knack for spotting talent with Bone Thugs and Harmony, so it's easy to imagine Eazy growing his empire into areas like fashion, film, or even tech. He had the independence and vision to shape the industry, and he probably would have been at the forefront of hip-hop's shift into the digital age. He likely would have adapted to new styles, mentored rising stars, and kept himself relevant while experimenting with collaborations outside of rap. Whether through music, acting, or TV, he was destined to become a cultural icon. Even after his time with Death Row, Eazy-E's influence would have kept him a heavyweight in West Coast rap. His focus on authenticity and entrepreneurship would have helped shape the future of independent labels and given new talent a platform. Had he lived, Eazy wouldn't just be remembered as a legend, he'd still be making history.